Alright, so Can't Find My Way Home. This was originally released on Blind Faith's only album in 1969. And that was Stevie Winwood, of course, and Eric Clapton, Ginger Baker, and a guy called Rick Gresh. And it's a great song, you know. The way they play on the album, of course, is a lot different than the version I'm doing. I'm doing the version where he's sitting by the fireplace that he put out a few years ago, and he's just, you know, strumming the song and singing it. And you can see how much talent he has just by watching him just play by himself like that. Great singer, guitar player, organ player, producer, engineer, writer, you know, the whole ball of wax, right? Anyways, so this one is in the key of C, and it's drop C. Okay, so it's like drop D, but just down a whole step. And the only reason that guys do this is as they get older, of course, their voice loses the high register, right? So they just tune down. So you can play this in drop D if you want to. I did it in the same key as he did in that Fireplace video, just so if you're switching between the two, you don't get screwed up by being in a different key. Okay, so I'll put the tuning down here, but it's C, G, C, F, A, and D. Okay, so, and I'll call that a D, even though we know we're in drop C. I'm going to call that a D. Okay, so let's go over the chords first before we get into the strumming, because the strumming is actually pretty tricky. Okay, so the song starts here, and I'm not going to worry too much about the names of all these chords. I'll give you a few, but you know, I'll be here too long discussing all the different chords in this. But okay, so we're going to start here, and that's just your third finger on E5, and don't play that high E string. Okay, you got to mute that with your first finger. Okay, so that's like it's like a G chord, right? And then we're gonna go down to an F sharp minor 7, bar from the D string over, and hit your third finger on E4, and we're muting that A string as we do that, right? We're also muting the A string on that first chord. I should have mentioned that. Okay, F sharp minor 7, and then E minor 7, same thing, muting that A string. And that's just one finger, right, on E2. And then D, so. Okay, it does it 2 or 3 times. You need a little vamp in between. Okay, and then when the verse cycle starts, we're going to start with this chord here, which is just middle finger on A3, third finger on B3. That's your first chord, and then we're going to drop that down to first finger on A2, and B3, E3. It's just like a G chord, right? I can't play a G chord in this tuning, but it's over the B bass, right? And then we're going to drop that bass down again, open D, open G, and B3. It's like a B flat-ish. And then we've got D over the A bass. So you've got the bass going down, right? It's just a descending bass thing. And then we've got this chord, which is like an F-ish chord. And that's E3 and B3. And then just slide that up and take your third finger off. Again, don't play that E string, right? It's like your G chord again, and then back to D, okay? So that's the cycle. So okay, that's the verse cycle. We'll get into the picking stuff in a minute. And then later on, we're going to go to this G chord. Again, don't play that high E, or you could fret the D, or the E and the B there, or just the E, because remember it's a G chord, right? But our bass has changed to there. Or just play that open B and mute that high E. And then Then we've got this, which is an A sus4, right? Just D2 and B3, and muting that E string with your thumb. Then D, then E minor 7 by hitting E2, muting the A string, right? Just keeping your finger on B3. And then that leads into... So those are all the chords. Now we'll get into the picking. Kind of the theme really in this version is this. Okay, so that's kind of the counter melody that's going on as he sings it. So do that again. So it's like the root note, right, which is C, B string, E string, drop it down, and then E string, B string, so we're backwards, right? Forward, backward, forward, and then the D, backward, right? So forward, backward, forward, backward, forward, backward, forward, backward, and then that's GB, G string, B string, D string, B string, okay. GB, DB, and then he does this lick. Hammer on E2. So we'll just go over that. So that's what you got to be thinking when you're playing this. Now you've got to add the strumming, right? So we're going to do this. All right, so really slowly that's... And it's a real feel kind of a thing, you know. It's something that you're going to have to really spend time with. Now, I mean, if this is too much for you and you're singing it, you could just strum it, right? Maybe throw in that last lick, right? Okay, but what he's doing, and this is what makes him such a great musician, you know, is it's the details. It's the finer points, you know. It's like this counter melody in the whole thing while he's singing, right? Let's go over that again. And up to speed. And there's a couple of times where when he does this, he kind of jumps, he kind of skips that open B string. One more time, slowly. So that's the bulk of it. If you can get that, you're laughing. The rest of it's easy. And then we get into that sort of, I guess, chorus bridge. I'm not sure what you'd call it, where it's just that G chord, right? Remember muting that E string. And then we've got this A sus4. Remember to mute that E string. We've got the D. We do that lick. Right? And then we got E minor 7. Remember muting that A string, right? And then we've got G, F sharp minor 7, E minor 7, D. Okay? And that's it. That's all there is to this one. Like I say, if the individual notes are too much, just strum it, right? It'll sound just great. But if you're a little more advanced, you can do the picking. Now, in that version, first time he comes out of that after the verse / chorus, he does a little lead in. He goes, right? Just open A, A2, A3. Like when I'm playing this, I have a bad habit of when we get to this part, I like to go to that open D because I always feel like I should be playing a D in the bass when I'm on a D chord, right? But he plays that open A there. Then he plays the open D on that D chord, right? Which kind of, it kind of like just it saves that big low D for that D chord. Okay. So that's pretty well it for this one. Really, really great sounding song, with that in drop C, it just sounds so deep and so rich, right? And really, really a nice version to play if you're just doing this by yourself. All right, so that's it for this one. I hope you get something out of it. I hope you enjoy playing the song, and we'll talk to you next time.